said, I'm me, there's no one like me. Trying, deep down, you trying.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's Paris Hart and Jason Williams with another episode of the Love With Podcast. Today, we have not only our first Grammy winner on the show, but we have a walking music box himself. Give it up to Spencer Ludwig.
Hey.
And I need to say this on the record. I know it's going to make the other episodes look kind of crazy, but this right here is my favorite musical artist in terms of like musicality and production that we have on the show right now. I know I said a lot. I like all the other artists. It's true. But right now, he shot to the top. You know what I mean? So he's on the show.
Thank you. That's very kind.
So to start it off, what impact would you say Los Angeles had on you and growing up there?
Growing up here was a big inspiration. Just surrounded by lots of musicians, lots of bands, and the kind of come up of indie music was a big influence for me, and sort of how I found myself in capital cities and how I ended up sort of bouncing around lots of bands at the time. It just kind of was the culture of Los Angeles to kind of be in a band and to kind of mix and match with each other. And this is a very musical community. I went to high school in North Hollywood at a school called Oakwood, and a lot of students there studied music and then went on to, pursue it professionally. And I've collaborated and run into people, and I don't know, just kind of has always been a hub here in Los Angeles, and that network has extended into the professional world. And definitely excited about raising my kid here. I'm kind of jumping the gun, but just had a baby, and I'm really happy to be back in Los Angeles, raising my family here, and surrounded by all of the culture that we have access to. Obviously right now it's still a little touch and go with like, what can you do, being in the middle of the pandemic, but knowing that it's here is exciting because it was great for me. So that's the long answer of LA was a big impact.
Yeah, I bet being in the LA scene for a long time definitely shapes the sound that you give out to the world. When did it start to really feel like you were part of the scene and not just the scene was like around you? So, like, when did you feel like you were contributing like musically? Like, this is me.
I think right around college, when I started to pursue the trumpet really seriously, and pursued a jazz trumpet degree at Cal Arts, which is also in LA. And while I was there, I was bouncing around, gigging all over town, sometimes finding gigs through Craigslist. Others were just like through referrals, just kind of anything and everything. And, during that time, it felt like I was playing gigs like every night of the week with different types of bands. And when you're working that much, you feel very much a part of the scene, and you really get to know everybody. There was a local venue that kind of had a lot of the local players coming in to play after gigs. It was kind of like an after hours spot. It was actually, it was like a speakeasy built behind like a Gray's Papaya type of place. And I forget I think it was even Gray's Papaya, like in LA. And it was called the Sayers Club. And you wouldn't know it was there unless you knew. And in that speakeasy, I felt like very much a part of the scene, because it was those players coming from touring gigs or coming from local gigs that just kind of like gathered together and just played really for fun. And for a small room, I think the cap in that space is like 150, maybe 200 people. So, and it was just local people who like kind of knew what was happening. And like before it got sort of popularized, it was a place where like also really big names would like low key do sets, and I got to see Prince and Stevie Wonder and like some pretty epic performances like inches away with 150 people. So that was the vibe.
Man, sounds like a very heavy vibe.
It was.
I like that.
Yeah.
To get off of you performing, who was the biggest person, or like the best performance you've seen?
Best performance. I Well, I guess, what really got me interested in kind of performing with improvisation, but also kind of chaos, I guess you could say, was watching the Mars Volta was like the first concert that like blew my mind. At the Greek Theater, the dude was just, wiling out, like flipping off of speakers and just taking us on a journey. It was amazing. So that was probably one of the like first concerts that really inspired me to like wanna do that and be that and become that.
Dang, a couple people on our show too say that like LA is the spot to be. So you being from New York and you being from LA, I know there's pros and cons to both. What would you say about that?
Well, I'm in love with New York. Like, I love New York so much, and my time there was equally, if not even more exciting and musical, and in different ways. They're just so different. They're really apples and oranges. Like, you can't even compare the two, and you just gotta enjoy them for what they are. And yeah, I mean, my time in New York was like a lot of like just musicians getting together to play and create for the love of it and for the fun of it. And it just felt even more community based and less about like any sort of industry connection or meaning. It was just about like getting hyped with the people of New York. And that's like, always sort of the foundation of like, what are we going to do? Why are we going to do it? It's to get people together and have a good time, and I just feel like that like inspired so many different things, especially the music that I was making and, am always making is definitely, rooted in that like mindset. But yeah, I guess, like I had a monthly party in Brooklyn at this spot called the Freehold. And we had all of 2020 lined up. We had just like murdered 2019. It was just insane, like wall-to-wall people bouncing off each other, like fucking crowd surfing, going absolutely wild, throwing food and pizza and popping bottles. It was just like amazing. And yeah, the party was called Les Trumpet, naturally. The idea was to kind of bring all the worlds together under one roof. So we had like drag queens and fire dancers and sword swallowers and aerialists and musicians and brass bands and, you name it, whatever I could find inspiring in New York, I just put it all in one place, and it worked and it made sense and it was fun. That kind of thing I don't really feel yet is like, it doesn't like click for me in LA. So it's like, that was like more New York for me. It's just like this melting pot of talent and just different types of performers kind of working together to create an experience.
Yeah, it sounds like a very packed scene, and I feel like when you're stepping into that, that can be kind of like intimidating. What was something that helped you kind of like find your footing, like, okay, like I can do this, or what's something that helped you get over your nerves, if you had any?
Yeah. I kind of thrive on the anxiety and the nerves that kind of come with the moment. And for me, it's like when I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, that's when I'm really excited, So
Okay.
yeah, I guess I was like always seeking that sort of like challenge of I don't really exactly see how this is going to work out, but like sort of showing up and just giving it a shot, like always kind of led to something exciting, like crowd surfing. And I bring that up because like my whole 2019, like, and if you look back on like pictures, it's just crazy because it's like, and there's an Instagram account at Les Trumpet Party, I think, and I just kind of put all the stuff there. And my like regular monthly thing was I was like on top of these floating like pool toys with a pizza box, throwing pizza at people, playing trumpet, and that was my life. And
You're
obviously
a rock star.
it was just like, but I didn't know if I didn't ever want to force that either. Like that wasn't like as planned as it sounds. It was more like, okay, let's keep this shit in the back, and like if the room gets lit, let's take it to the next level. So yeah, I
Screw it.
kind of
Everybody get
always,
pizza.
yeah, yeah. Anyways, I just always looked for that thrill, you know.
Mhm. Switching gears only a little bit, you're a father now, and that's that thrill of, you know, how can I do it and stuff like that. How does that translate into like your new daily life being a dad?
True. Right, yeah. Right back at how do I do this? I'm excited. um yeah, you know, I've like kind of, you know, gotten, you know, closer and closer to the idea of you're never really ready for anything. You just have to be open to the adventure of whatever it is and go for it. And you know, we really wanted to start a family, and so we kind of put some pieces together, like moving to LA, being closer to family. Both of our families are out here, so there's a lot of support. But yeah, you don't really know what you're getting into. And you know, since Ace is his name, has come into the world, you know, it's as cliche as everyone says it is. It's just it's the best thing in the world. He's just like the thing that just makes us happier than we ever thought we could be. So, you know, it's amazing and cheesy and great.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah.
They say when you
Yeah.
have a kid, it's your luckiest year.
It's amazing. And I feel like so inspired to, you know, do more, do better, be better. And I love that. I love that, you know, but I'm also inspired to just teach him things and expose him to music. And in a lot of ways, I'm jealous because I didn't grow up with a studio or like instruments or any of that. So he's in here and I'm just like, I'm jealous that he gets to like see all this stuff so early. Like, who knows, you know, what it inspires, like, if nothing else, just a love for music, you know.
Yeah, so you started off with the saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
What instrument is your favorite after the trumpet, would you say?
um yeah, I mean, I think I always really love the trombone, and I have a trombone that I play sometimes, but it's definitely a favorite of mine to listen to and to like watch, like done really well. um I play other instruments better than the trombone, but I just really love the trombone because there are no buttons. It's all feel. It's just all kind of like where you think it goes, you know. And I feel like people who are really great at that are like on another level. But yeah, I mean, I love the drums. Like, it's just like, how could you not love hitting things, you know? It's such a great like vibe. And yeah, I write most of my songs on the keys, um and sometimes on the guitar. So, you know, what I just got a little bit of everything in here and kind of go between, you know, all the instruments as I'm making things, and everything kind of eventually finds itself onto the song.
Mm.
Yeah.
And piggybacking off of that, then, your songwriting process. You know, you have a lot of instrumentation in music, big production quality. What is like a typical day for you when you're like, okay, let's record? What goes to your brain? What goes to your schedule?
Yeah. I mean, it can kind of start in any way, you know, it just depends on like what kind of sparks the first idea. Sometimes that's, you know, a groove. A lot of the times it's about building the drums and the percussion, and kind of once you understand those pieces, then you're like, you can hear the rest in a lot of ways, you know. But sometimes it starts with an idea, you know, and you want to write around that, and then you build the drums last or something. So I don't really have a go-to process. It's just kind of like, you know, whatever in the moment inspires the next thing. It's like, it's really random. And I like just playing with things and throwing things on the wall and seeing what sticks. I'd say if anything, my process is to like overproduce first and just throw tons and tons and tons of ideas, and then kind of carve out the best idea. So yeah, I like to layer things until I have enough sort of colors to play with, and then I just kind of refine it from there.
Yeah, I see you like creating your own chaos.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, I don't really know what I can do with all these possible sounds. Let me just
Yes.
try this. Okay, let me try this. Okay, let me.
Yeah, and then it eventually kind of takes shape. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess there's a theme here for sure.
I find that when most of our interviews that there's definitely like an outstanding theme that makes an artist pop, and for you is controlled chaos, even if you create it yourself.
That's intuitive and sounds just about right.
I want to say,
Well, thank you.
I want to say while we're here, I got to give a big shout out to you for being that musically like knowledgeable and gifted. And there's a lot of artists that I speak with and that Jason speaks with, and we talk with them about how you really have to love what you do and how you have to actually care for what you do. And to piggyback off Jason, when we listen to your music, we hear all the great instruments, we hear all the great melodies and sounds. And I just want to praise you for not being one of the artists that says, I'm just going to go in and rap my bars, or I'm just going to go in and lay down the vocals. Like, to take the everything in control is just big ups to you. And it speaks in the music.
Cool. Thanks, man. I mean, you know, I think everybody's contribution is like equally as important to the finished product. And sometimes people's roles are, you know, just that piece. But I definitely have always been a person who kind of hears like all the pieces. So I feel like I have to kind of weigh in and help sort of, you know, take each piece to the place that I think it could go. And then what I love about collaborating is when people sort of challenge that, and then the journey kind of continues to figure out what pieces are right. But I do love hearing and playing with all the parts for sure.
That's what's up. When it comes to collabing with other people, is there a particular role that you find yourself like gravitate towards more, that you like favor more than the other?
I'd really love producing. I just love, you know, kind of helping crack the code and also translate what people are trying to articulate with, you know, the way that they want something to sound. It's like really a fun challenge, and constantly the moment of I don't know what the answer is, but we're gonna figure it out. You know, yeah, just kind of being the trumpet player like never really fully did it for me, which is kind of why I like, you know, had that one phase early in my career when I was just doing that. But then as soon as I sort of got a taste of what else I could do, I just like went hard and fast down that lane. But same thing with like writing the lyrics and doing the melodies. Like I love doing that, but as a part of doing being involved with everything else. I definitely don't feel like I have to steer the ship, but I like to, you know, I like to be a part of, you know, all of the pieces for sure.
Yeah. So going into you know, the work that you do, right? Say somebody is also coming up behind you, somebody has the same like inspirations, they want to really go into production, they want to work behind the scenes of all of these you know, events and award shows, which, you know, Spencer Ludwig is a part of, you know, the SB award shows band, the NFL award show, he's a part of that. So when people want to get into that field, what's something that, you know, doesn't have to be like a technical like advice, what's something like real that you would offer them to really consider before stepping in that field, or if they're in that field already?
Definitely pick up production, you know, I mean, because production kind of empowered me to be able to, go between worlds, and understand the the process of how music is made, because then you can kind of adapt, in different situations. But yeah, I think understanding how to put something together kind of gives you the ability to put anything together. It's just a language, the production language is just got its own, tools for how to, have conversations in that world. But yeah, being a producer kind of opened up those musical director opportunities with the SBs and NFL honors. And I always also write and produce the music prior to that. So, you know, I don't know. I think for me, those opportunities have always been like the perfect way for me to kind of do all the things that I do, because I kind of am able to bring the live show and the band and that arranging into that world, but then also the production and writing. And it's a really fun and crazy gig, but I love it.
Dang, you always got your hands full and you're always working. What do you do to like cool off?
Yeah. Um, I first of all, now that we have Ace, like I'm so grateful for a constant reason to like, put the phone down, stop working, and just like be present. So yeah, that's my new answer to that question, is just chill with Ace, you know. Um Prior to
So
that was just kind of like the same thing, but with my wife, like just go do things and be present with her or my family, kind of unplug and not really have a agenda. you know I definitely have in the past. I've been like, if I'm not doing this, I should be doing this. But like, it's good to like just kind of unplug and like just be in the world and go outside. And I do try to do like at least one trip a year where I'm just like, cannot reach me, I'm on a beach with tacos. That's my happy place, is a beach with tacos.
changing topic just a little bit. All right. So scenario. You're, later in the future, you're however old you are, and then your kid comes up to you. Hey dad, I want to come and I want to play such and such instrument. How do you feel like as a person who's seasoned in the field? How would that kind of shape your relationship with kind of like your son's endeavors? Because people always say all the time like, oh, I want my kids to be whatever they want, and that's true. But how much of there is there like an ideal of like playing with your son, or like passing on that all the knowledge that you've acquired in the field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, well, it would be amazing to play with my son. And I hope that we get to jam and he gets to make his own decision of whether he likes music or not, or he likes this instrument or that instrument. But I definitely want to like provide like the space. And, you know, I would obviously be excited if he wanted to, take anything further. And I would, just try to do my best to keep him inspired, and not push. I think, that's an important thing, is, to encourage practicing, but not to force it, and to like just keep it fun, and I have no expectations, in general. So I just want, this to be a playground, and for these all to be fun, things to play with.
That's what's up. So if your kid does decide to pursue that, would he be a Trumpet Records artist, or would you push him more of a big major?
Nice. Yeah. Well, I think, that would be up to him, but Trumpet Records is definitely here for him. And is something I'm excited to introduce him to, because for me, that's my other baby now, is Trumpet Records, which really came into itself last year or 2020, it kind of evolved from my label to a bigger company that now represents producers and composers and artists and focuses on developing music with them like a sort of traditional publisher, as well as kind of tailoring that music for the ad world and finding placements for it and real use for music that's being created. And it's something that has helped me as an artist, you know, be able to finance any vision that I had for myself, because my music was finding itself in these commercials, and I was able to take that revenue and kind of redirect it into music videos and touring and hiring bands. And so that's what excites me about that, and that's sort of why Trumpet Records is focused on that. And you know, I'm really excited about the the future of the company. We had a really rad year, and you know, I got to see a lot of my friends win, and that's like the most exciting thing, is that I'm helping connect these dots for people that mean something to me and or I'm inspired by. And to know that these little moments are sort of helping them continue to create and do what they do is really exciting. So yeah, that's again the long answer.
Long answers keeps the show rolling. You're doing your job, man. Another question I have for you is, the money started coming in, you're doing all these gigs, doing all these promotions, you're getting ad revenue. When was the moment when you were like, okay, I can do this full time, I can sustain myself, this is my career? Did that ever click to you, or is that just kind of always like innate in you?
As far as music specifically, honestly, I felt that right out of high school, I'd figure it out. And, I started teaching music right out of high school, private lessons. So teaching private trumpet lessons, and that kind of quickly evolved into more like music classes at schools. And specifically the school that I went to kind of brought me back as a teacher. And so kind of like right off the bat, I was able to support myself through music and kind of have a day job that was music centric, trumpet centric, and then at night, play with bands and kind of see where that would go. And there was always a balance, but it was always a balance between different jobs within music that always involved like music creation or performance. So yeah, I've never had like an executive position officially, but now with Trumpet Records, I've sort of just come into one, and it kind of just at this time in my life really makes sense and really works. And I always love continuing to grow in different ways. And so this is a new and exciting thing, since it's a bit different, obviously, from touring or performing or teaching or any of that stuff. And I'm still actively creating, while I'm doing it.
What's up? So is Trumpet Records looking for artists? And if so, where can our like listeners be like, yes, I want to be a part of this, I want to submit my music to them?
Yeah,
Where could they submit it at?
totally. We're always listening, and on our website, which is wearetrumpetrecords.com, there's a music submission email, and you can just submit music anytime, and it goes directly to me, and I listen to it, and we'll just give you honest feedback as far as, do I feel like this makes sense and I could help you or not, and yeah, that's my goal, is to just be transparent and be honest and try to make things happen. But yeah, I mean, although right now we're sort of focused on, publishing and, creating music within the ad world, we are definitely looking to, put out records and sign artists and build in that direction as well. But it's sort of, a long a long game, and right now really excited about sort of where we're at.
What's one thing that you like to instill into your music? You make a lot of different sounds, you hit a lot of different genres of music. What's one thing you try to keep consistent? What thing like you want to show in your instrumentality, messaging, lyrics, anything?
There's a couple things. Honesty, like, genuine integrity, not trying too hard, is definitely a big one. And just like having fun, like while you're making music, and for that to come out through the music. A lot of the times I like to kind of infuse humor into the music so that it feels like, you can feel that we're having fun and that we're laughing behind the scenes and that we're, having a good time, and like, yeah, generally I like to make music that's like feel good, because that's my favorite kind of music, but yeah, I mean, I have some records that are going to come out this year that are less feel good, more honest, and some are more feel good, and some are, yeah, just kind of all over the place. But I think just being honest and having a good time is like the core.
Genuine and all an authentic core to have, man. That's how you keep good things around you.
Yeah.
Fact. So to get off topic for music a little bit, I want to say I'm pretty sure you're the first male model we actually had. So we saw that you did the run with Tommy Hilfiger. What was that like?
Yeah, that was really like a freaking like unicorn moment that, I was completely like not expecting, and it was a wave that just kind of kept going, and it was a whole year of modeling for Tommy Hilfiger, which I just kind of like couldn't believe when it was happening. I can't believe it now. And it was so much fun, and I just felt like such a fish out of water, like on the shoots. Like I would always just kind of be like looking around, like, these people think I'm a model, kind of talking with the models and listening to the models like chat with each other. I was just like, wow, like this is crazy. Like I'm here, but I don't know if I'm supposed to be. I'll take this picture and we'll make it happen. I'm so glad that I got that experience. It was really a lot of fun, and it's pretty amazing career choice. I mean, if you can do it, for those who do, I mean, it's a lot of work to take care of yourself. And there's pros and cons to everything, but it's pretty chill at the same time. It's pretty chill. So, and it's pretty cool. Like you get to do some cool things. So yeah, I mean, and they were such a cool brand to partner with too, because they like really supported my music. They put my music in the campaign. And they also like put me on a little tour and had me play at Tommy Hilfiger locations kind of like around the country. And yeah, they were incredibly supportive. And I have some cool pictures to show Ace. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just that and everything. Music creator, model, what's next? Who knows?
Whatever they want, whatever comes next,
CEO, owner,
yeah.
of course, Grammy winner. So what was that like? How did that moment feel to you when it all happened?
Surreal. I mean, I just didn't make that music thinking that would happen, and I don't think most people do. And so it was just really a beautiful thing to kind of see something that started out in a little studio in Miami, find its way to that moment. And, to hear, Fonseca, win and mention my name on the Grammy stage and everything. It was just like, what? Again, very out of body, amazing. And yeah, just grateful I've had the opportunity to be in the room at the right time and contribute. And yeah, I feel like that's the thing is, you just got to keep making music, and these things will happen along the way, and they're cool. And you know, it's a great experience attached with that, you know, accolade in the moment. But yeah, I don't think about it too much, and I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity. And if anything else, more than the Grammy, was the relationship that I built with Fonseca, and the ability to you know, really call him a friend. And he you know, he took me on tour 2018 and 2019, and I opened for him as direct support all over the country twice, which was amazing. Just traveling with him, and you know, and performing with his band. I mean, that was the win. So yeah.
Was extra pizza being thrown after that moment?
No, I definitely thought about that, but yeah, no pizza was thrown. No pizza was harmed, but yeah.
That's what's up. If there's an artist out there that's listening and just thinking, how can I get there? How can I be where Spencer's at? What advice would you give them?
Every day, make music, and make music with people, and just fill your day with music, you know, and as much time as you can. Like if you have a job, do music at all the other hours, you know. And as basic as it sounds, I just feel like the more you're making, like the more opportunity you have for like that energy to come back, you know. So I just think you guys got to keep your output has to just be on, you know, the highest level. And you never know what your, you know, day working with this person or that person kind of leads to. So I think you just got to keep, you know, stay consistent, don't give up at all those things, because that's what we're doing, you know, that's what everybody who's like in the industry is doing. Like, and I think the thing is, when you have a moment, you definitely catch a wave, and it's easier to like keep going. But I mean, you know, everything has, you know, its ups and downs. And so even people who are, you know, high now are, you know, gonna need to have that reminder to keep going, you know. So you just have to keep going, keep creating, and just literally never stop. And it just basically only gets harder. So if it's hard, if it's hard now and you're wondering how to start, like it only gets harder the more you get into it. And, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we're definitely you know, preaching to our listeners. Something that we do on our own personal pages is really just the idea of every day, you know, just being consistent, either creating content, dropping content, managing. Like at some point in your life, you're gonna just have to be like, yeah, I walk around with this is what I do. You know, like it can't just be something that we put on the table. Okay, I do this after work sometimes. I do this after. It really becomes like a part of who we are. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, we really want to thank you for sharing all the parts of who you are, you know, all the parts you have to mix match to create your artistry and your career. So, you know, thank you for coming out with us and sharing so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just one thing real quick. If people want to reach out to you, or if anyone wants to see you on social medias, where can they reach you at?
Everything is just at Spencer Ludwig. And I'm pretty easy to reach. So hit me up. And yeah, Trumpet Records, you can find all that on my accounts, but it's all We Are Trumpet Records. Hey, this is Spencer Ludwig, and you're tuning in to the Love of It podcast.